Hey there, I'm Brooke Chase, your host and tree hugger new bestie to make your life all things simple. On my new podcast, Simply Be Sustainable, we're on a mission to discover how we can live a more fulfilling life with less. Less stuff, less waste, less clutter, so that we can thrive and experience the things that truly matter and make us happy. Join me as we explore practical strategies, learn with insightful interviews, and I'll share my own personal stories that I hope will inspire positive change. We'll dive deep into topics like zero waste living, ethical fashion, mindful consumption, and honestly, just acting simple. Together, we'll learn how to reduce waste, conserve energy, and live harmoniously with the queen bee herself, Mother Earth. If you're ready to begin your journey toward less for way more, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. Tag me and share things you learn, like, or don't on Instagram at simp.lee.be. Simply Be, but of course was taken by someone that doesn't use Instagram anymore. Or ask me a question. New shows drop every Monday at 8 p.m. Let's live simply, be simple, and simply be for a greener, brighter future, one episode at a time. All right. I need to make that intro a little shorter. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of Simply Be Sustainable, your new favorite podcast about how to live more with less. So I have so much to tell you guys. I'm trying to think of how I can condense this into a short episode. All right. So I just want to give you a quick recap of my week because it's been so crazy. So I decorated for fall last week. So this week I decorated for Halloween. The Phillies and the Eagles are on freaking fire. My parents celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. So shout out to Rich and Mel for 40 years of surviving each other. Just kidding. Love them. And I found a $100 gift card to Home Depot. And so I bought flowers for outside and I am going to do a winter crop, which I'm telling you that because it's going to be on the show later. So super excited about all that. So it's been a week. I would love to hear about what you guys have been up to this week. I'm telling you all this stuff because I actually had a plan for this week, but like I said, I'm starting messy, but I'm starting and I changed my mind. So I was planning to do like a deeper dive into mindset, but we're actually going to do that next week. And I'm going to have a guest next week to talk about that with all of us to help us clear our minds so that we can have it be more simple and relaxed. Her name is Mia. She just opened a new store and it involves like meditation and like sound healing. So I cannot wait to have her on the show next week. But this week we are going, well, you might be wondering, well, I'm in my kitchen. Why? Because today I was thinking about the last episode and I decided that I really wanted to share this one recipe that's kind of like timely. And so that's why we're in my kitchen, because we are going to simply be cooking, y'all. We're back. But really quick before that, because I'm a storyteller, I want to talk to you guys about seasons, right? So everyone, depending on where you live, but there are simply seasons and they're just a fact of life. Well, I don't know if anyone's like me, but I have it's not serious, but I definitely have seasonal like issues when it comes to me letting go of the summertime. I am one of those people where I like live for the summer. I live for the warm weather. I live for the long summer days where the sun is out. When it's time for fall and it's usually, like September 3rd or whatever, when, you feel nostalgic and you're going back to school and you're like, it's fall time. Like I am never ready. And I'm like, I am an adult. I do not have to go back to school. I don't want to fall yet. Like I don't. And I have a real problem with it. So, As some of you guys may know, I recently moved to Savannah, Georgia, where the seasons are a lot different here. And a friend of mine sent me this Instagram post from a guy named, I want to make sure I get it right, Jake Cornell. Let me just double check if that's what his name is. Anyway, but he basically was like, I don't identify with the seasons the way they are. And it just like really, really resonated with me. And I have been kind of saying this for a while, but I never had anybody else like make me feel seen and validated in this. And so the reason I'm telling you this, because it kind of goes along with like this simple mindset where, like, if you just simply change like a little thing about your mindset and come from like a different space about how you think about it, it can really change how you think about a lot of things following that, right? So I do not identify with fall until the second week of October. And so if you, as Jake says, if you like that, take it with you. If you don't, leave it there. But I will not be acknowledging that it is fall until then for the rest of my life. Okay. And so that's what brings us to this recipe. So this recipe, well, also I don't like recipes because I can't follow directions because I'm crazy. But like I just don't think that they're necessary. Like you throw a little bit of whatever you want in that makes it you. I'm just giving you like guidelines for how to make whatever it is that we make on the show. And so backing up a little bit, I think I want to do like every other episode will be like in the kitchen. And then like every other episode, just like regular podcast about, whatever. Okay, so back to Simply Be Cooking. And today we are cooking up, we're not even actually like really cooking, we're just making a drink. We are talking about coffee. And we are talking about a paleo pumpkin iced coffee. All right. And so because this is a show about simple sustainability, we're going to backtrack with like a little bit about coffee. So just a couple things to start. So, I was talking about like reduce, reuse, recycle. The very first one is refuse. And so I refuse to buy coffee at a store. Call me cheap, call me whatever you want. But I'm just like, okay, so girl math. If a coffee costs like, I don't know, say it's like $3 if you're like a Starbucks girly or guy or whatever you are. That's like, if you spend $3 and it's every morning. So let's just say you just like simple math, right? So 3 times 5 is 15. That's $780 a year. Like, that's how much money you would have if you just refused that coffee. So, like, girl math, I basically get my hair done for free. Like, anyways. So that for me is enough. That's a reason enough for me to just like stay home and drink my coffee. But also, I don't leave the house. I work from home. So that's another reason for me to stay home and drink my coffee. And also, I really like my front porch with my coffee. But all those things are, probably not important to you. But, anyways, so it's also, if you think about if you had 1 cup every morning, that's 365 cups that you would be throwing away. So just think about that. And then if you really think about like how many people would be doing that, like if everybody just said no to that, that would be 2.5 billion single-use coffee cups discarded globally every year. Right? Like, ouch. 2.5 billion single-use coffee cups. Okay. So then if you're like me, you're like, okay, well, most of the time I won't get into styrofoam because I just like can't even acknowledge that. But let's just say they're like paper cups. And you're like, oh, well, you can recycle those, right? I need to learn how to use things. No, and I did not know this. So I don't know if you remember the last episode, I said like something that I learned about recycling or whatever. So in doing the show, I'm learning with y'all. You can't recycle coffee cups. I did not know that. And the reason is because if it's actually seems kind of obvious, but I'd never thought about it before. So I'm assuming no one else did. If you poured a liquid into like a paper cup, it would just like like break, so they're lined with polyurethane. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, so they're lined with plastic. And so, if you're recycling, you have to separate. And so you cannot recycle paper product coffee cups or any kind of paper cup, for that matter, because it holds liquid, which means it's lined in plastic. All right, so that's that. So back to that number, though, that's a staggering, oh my God, that's crazy. 5,000 cups a minute. That's crazy. I need to check that stat, but that's according to, I think the source was Tree Hugger or something. .com. If a person throws away 1 coffee cup a day, that adds up to 23 pounds of waste per year. Yeah. 2.5 billion. Yeti. Sorry. Tell my dog that I'm doing a podcast. Oh my God. Yeti, stop. No. Don't do that. No. Oh, okay. Okay, so the lids are not recyclable either, and neither are the sleeves, which is 10,000 trees, or I'm sorry, 100,000 trees per year, just the sleeves. So when we go back to refusing, like if you could just refuse the sleeve and the lid, like that would be something to think about, All right, so just a couple things. Now let's make this coffee. All right. Insert break for Yeti, because the sustainable swap of the week is our reusable coffee cup. So if you want to sponsor my show, Yeti, you can, my dog is even named after you, Yeti. Anyways, there's your fake commercial. I do actually really love my Yeti. Like, it keeps my stuff cold or hot for a really long time. Like, ice all day, hot coffee for like seriously 5 hours. I mean, it's great. So another thing, when I do go get myself a treat and get some coffee, I skip the cup and all that because I pour it right in my cup. Right. And so, like, I'm not saying this stuff to like toot my own horn. It's just like, it's something that you can do so that you can have zero waste. And that's the goal, right? Like, obviously we're not all perfect, but just by doing that one little thing, that reduces all of that waste. Like, there's no cup, there's no sleeve, there's no straw, there's no lid. There's just me walking in with my cup, filling it up, leaving it, drinking it, and that's it. Okay. So, now we are going to make this delicious drink, which I've been working on this for a while, so I'm half done drinking it. But here's what you need to make it. All right. So, I also have a confession. Remember, I told you guys about how I have like these confessions. And I do wash. Last week I said I didn't wash my water cup. I wash my coffee cup every day. So that's not like that bad. Okay, but I also drink old coffee is my confession. Like, when I tell you I don't waste anything on this show, like, I don't waste anything. So like, if there's extra coffee, I put it in the refrigerator. But that is how this recipe was born. So like, I have this I got at the Goodwill. It was like $1. Isn't it cute? And it even says Dover on it. And I don't know if that's Dover, Tennessee or Dover, Delaware, but obviously I'm from Delaware, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, so I just like have this little glass thing. I think it looks like it was like for milk, like back in the day. And I just pour the leftover coffee in there. So the first thing you need to do is start saving your coffee. Be like me and save your coffee. And then the other thing I do is I also, like, when that thing gets full, I freeze the ice cubes. So then my iced coffee does not get diluted. So now the coffee I have is already cold. And then the ice cubes I use are made out of coffee cubes. So they're extra coffee-y. Anyways. All right. And so then you're going to take your cup. I have this little mason jar here for those of you that are just listening. I put the ice cube coffee in there. Then I pour the coffee over top. And then I have pumpkin creamer. It's pumpkin oat milk. You can use almond milk, soy milk, regular milk, whatever you want. That's why I said it's a recipe, but you can use it however you like. Certainly no one's forcing you to be paleo, but yeah. And then it is also better for the environment if we don't drink milk just because of a lot of things, which I won't get into, but like just a thought for that. And then I have 2 spices that I use, and I use Trader Joe's pumpkin pie spice, which has cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, clove, and cardamom. So any of those spices, if you got them. Which I don't know if anybody knows this. I'm sure people know this, but I just found this out that a lemon peel will reduce the bitterness in your coffee. Just fun fact there. I think it's a French thing. I don't know. And I have a little bit of ground nutmeg and then some extra cinnamon because I love cinnamon. And another fun fact that cinnamon will, what's the word I'm looking for? Like hold your hunger, keeps hunger at bay. I don't know. Anyway, I'm full of useless fun spice facts. Okay, so we've got our ice, we've got our coffee, we've got our pumpkin milk, and then we've got our spices. And then for the sugar, I use coconut sugar, which coconut sugar, it is a good substitute for regular sugar because it has a lower glycemic index. So like if you're trying to, lose weight or keep your sugar steady, which, we all should try to do a little bit. It's just a little bit better for you. That's all. So I use coconut sugar. And no, it does not taste like coconut. It doesn't. It really doesn't. At least I don't think so. But I've also been eating it or drinking it for a long time. So. But I don't think it does. All right. So, and then you just put it all together and that's it. And of course, I have my reusable straw, this cute metal copper looking straw. And it's absolutely freaking delicious. And it wasn't free because I had to buy the ingredients, but essentially the coffee was free because you would probably be just throwing it away. So now instead of throwing away your coffee, you got this whole fantastic drink. I don't know why I said fantastic. Fantastic? It's fantastic. Anyways, yeah. So that is our unrecipe for Simply Be Cooking. I mentioned the simple swap was to bring your own coffee cup when you go get coffee or refuse coffee altogether, as I mentioned, and make it at home. But if you do go out, and yeah, that's it. So I also mentioned that I'm going to do a beer of the week. And banana beer from Service Brewing Company in Savannah is delicious. That is my beer of the week. All right. So that is today's show. I hope that you liked it. I hope you will think about your coffee routine from now on. And if you drink your coffee at home, that maybe instead of dumping whatever you don't drink, that you will stick it in the refrigerator and freeze it. And maybe you'll even find a really cute container to use from like a thrift store or yard sale. Yeah. And that is the show. So if you have not yet, please subscribe. And if you also have not yet, please leave me a review. I like to say only leave me a good review because I don't have any reviews yet. And so it would kind of suck if the only one I had was shitty. You can leave me a bad review later and then never listen again. Anyways, go Phillies. Thank you all so much for listening. And follow me on Instagram and tell me about your week and if you like this episode about coffees. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.